What's going on, boxing fans? Julian Williams here at the distance. Got a video for you guys today. This one is Saul Alvarez versus Matthew Hatton for the WBC Junior Middleweight Championship. Takes place on March the 5th. Unfortunately, the WBC has some very stupid rankings, and this is the matchup that we get. So let's talk about the matchup in front of us for March the 5th. Matthew Hatton versus Saul Alvarez. Saul Alvarez, pretty much the new. I think in probably about 2 years, if he continues to win and he continues at the pace that he's at, I think that he's going to be. I think he could be a potential cash cow in the future for HBO. And he's one of those fighters that just loves to fight. You can just tell by his style and his activity, the fact that he fights frequently, that he's like 20 years old and he's already considered a contender and now is in contention for a world title. So that's impressive beyond itself. Though I don't think he's really done anything really to get a championship shot. I don't think he's even fought in eliminators or anything. Maybe he has in his last couple fights. Who knows? I don't pay attention to that stuff. But Saul Alvarez overall, is a very good fighter. In my opinion, I think he's a very good fighter. I think he's going to be a future potential cash cow in the future. I think he's going to be headlining pay-per-views possibly, and maybe, just maybe, we could see him in a huge matchup. Preferably, I would like to see him fight Chavez Jr., despite the fact that, I'm obviously not a fan of Chavez Jr., but that's actually, right now, as long as Chavez Jr. is undefeated and as long as Saul Alvarez is undefeated, despite the fact that he has like a blemish on the record with a draw, that could be, that could actually be a big showdown in the future if they both remain undefeated, and we'll see what happens. But then we have Matthew Hatton. It's unfair to compare Matthew Hatton to Ricky Hatton. A lot of people talk about, man, why isn't Matthew as good as Ricky, or Matthew's a bum compared to Ricky, this, that, and the other. And it's unfair to compare the brothers because they have completely different styles. Though there is a couple things that Matthew does that's similar to his brother Ricky, but I'm not going to get into that. So analyzing the fight and what I think is gonna happen, this is gonna be an interesting fight. I don't think it's gonna be necessarily a big fight of the year or this big shootout, but it's gonna be interesting. Something that will be interesting to see is if Matthew Hatton gives Saul Alvarez problems, will Alvarez have the ability to adjust his style and make little changes to what he does in the ring? Because Alvarez, with Alvarez, I have seen him make adjustments. He did make a couple in the Cotto fight, but they weren't necessarily major adjustments. They were more subtle changes that he made. And I've seen him do different things and show a little bit of versatility in the past. So, but at the same time, we've seen he's trying to kind of change it up and he's still learning. So what will Matthew Hatton do to make Saul Alvarez make like major adjustments? Matthew Hatton, I think, fights a lot on impulse. He loves to control the pace of the fight. In this matchup against Alvarez, the punches that he throws are going to have to be quick and short. Something that he does do well, he does throw very quick combinations. And when he gets inside, he holds and he clinches, especially when fighters get close. And also in clinches, he does throw some decent body shots within the clinches. Despite the fact that he doesn't necessarily have the power to knock out Alvarez, I think Hatton has the hand speed, and he does have very decent hand speed. He has the hand speed to kind of outwork Alvarez in the middle. He has the hand speed to do it, and then when after he throws, he should clinch him maybe, clinch him so he doesn't get off. But he has his hand speed to get off first, and and not only that, he has a hand speed to get off first. He's not a clever fighter at all. I think with Matthew Hatton, Matthew is a simple ABC 1 2 3 fighter. In a way, maybe AB 1 2. He doesn't have that third element to him that will, that's very tricky. He's not, he's gonna have troubles setting up traps against Alvarez because he could fight from an angle, set up a little defensive trap, hit him with the right hook, and and something that he does do well is he does have different blocking techniques. He like when the punch is in the middle, he shells up like this, or when someone's throwing hooks, he does like that. So or that old Foreman or Archie Moore technique. He does that. He does that quite well, but like I said, in this matchup he's gonna have to work a lot. He's gonna work a lot. He has to work a lot on impulse. That's pretty much what he's gonna have to do. Is he's gonna have to simply work a lot on impulse. He's gonna have to move a lot. He's not the best on his feet, but he's gonna have to move a lot. He's gonna have to use the ring to the best of his advantage. He's gonna have to make Alvarez come forward and chase him. What he wants to do is he wants to work, but make Alvarez work. He wants to get off first, and then make Alvarez get off. Get his shots off. That's pretty much Hatton's best way to victory, is basically just outworking him, having a high work rate for 12 rounds. And I think Hatton could pretty much take this match if he's able to kind of capitalize on the younger fighters' mistakes, because Alvarez does make a lot of mistakes, but he's still working on them. He still has time to improve. But I think that's Matthew Hatton's key to victory. Saul Alvarez, I think is trying very hard to make some accommodations to his style. He knows that he has flaws, but he's trying to learn. He's like I've noticed in his last few fights, he's starting to move a little bit better on his feet. He's not as flat-footed as he once was. He's not as flat-footed, but now he's trying to work a lot more behind the jab. He's starting to kind of set up his shots a little bit more, and but one thing he does need to do is he does need to move his head a little bit more, move the head a little bit more, and I think also something else to point out is that he does kind of leave the jab out there for quite a long time, and he's a little bit slow off of it, a little bit, not too slow, but he uses it effectively. In this matchup, he has to keep Matthew Hatton at the end of his punches. He doesn't want Matthew Hatton to he wants to control the range with his jab. He wants to control the range with his jab to set up the overhand right. Overhand right's going to be there if Matthew Hatton stands in front of him. And Matthew Hatton does, stand right in front of you. He does stand in front of you, but he does move when he's like it's like this. When Matthew Hatton's not on offense, his defense is standing in front of you, eating a couple shots in the shell, but that's all he does. He kind of just stands there. He moves a little bit. He kind of doesn't necessarily move his head himself. He's not like I said, he's not clever. He's not tricky. So I think that there's going to be some big shots up top for him. Also some body shots. Digging to the body. That's going to be crucial and effective for Alvarez if he digs into the body, hit him with some hard body shots. And, also just being effective with the power shots. It's being effective with the power shots and, being able to come forward using the jab. Come forward with the jab and, look for countering opportunities. He does have, I think that Alvarez does have good timing with his hands. And he can catch, I think he has the ability to catch Hatton with a shot he doesn't see and knocks him out. And that pretty much explains my prediction. I think that Alvarez can beat Hatton. Though Hatton can beat Alvarez, I think that Alvarez will beat Hatton by knockout in the 9th round. I think he should knock him out in 9 rounds. He has the power, and not only that, he can. The thing is, I think Hatton can frustrate Alvarez if he comes in and he works. But Hatton sometimes doesn't maintain the work rate. He can get both fighters I think could get frustrated in this fight, but I think Alvarez has the power and the ability to keep him outside the jab to just beat him and possibly knock him out with the overhand right maybe. Whether it be an overhand right or left hook, Alvarez has the ability to take this matchup and make some waves and win the WBC Junior Middleweight Championship. So I'm going with Saul Alvarez. So anyway, guys, that was the distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.